It is no secret that many animals have been involved as astronauts. For example, the famous dogs Belka and Strelka. There have also been many monkey astronauts. However, there is no well-known story about cats in space. Yet, among these animals, there is one cat that traveled beyond our planet, Felicette, the space cat. Why was a cat chosen for space travel? France lagged behind in the space race compared to the Soviet Union and the United States. Nevertheless, it was actively progressing in space exploration research. At the time of Felicette's launch, French scientists were studying the effects of weightlessness, G-forces, and open space on mammalian brains. They had already conducted experiments with rats in open space. The next step was to study a more complex and developed brain, that of a cat, under the same conditions. French biologists were actively researching cat brains, which is why they chose cats for the space program. Selection process for the space cats. The scientists immediately ruled out the possibility of using cats in their experiments. Cats tend to be more active, anxious, and larger in size. In total, 14 cats were selected and began active preparation for space flight. The preparation of cats for space travel by the French was quite thorough. Since the main goal was to study the brain during spaceflight, electrodes were implanted into each animal's head. These sensors monitored the activity of the brain. In addition to the sensors, the cats underwent physical training. Before such a test, it was necessary to select an animal that could best withstand G-forces and other stresses. The cats were subjected to centrifuge tests and other simulators designed to prepare their bodies for the rigors of flight. All subjects were assigned only numbers, they did not have names. The results of the experiments were uncertain, and to prevent scientists from developing emotional attachments to the test animals, the cats were not given names. Selection of Felicette. By the end of the training and testing phase, a black and white two-tone cat with the number C341 was chosen. She had the calmest temperament and tolerated the preparation well. Additionally, she was the most compact and light, which scientists considered an advantage for the upcoming mission. Later, this cat was given the name Felicette. Felicette spaceflight. Felicette was scheduled to fly aboard the Veronique AG-1 launch vehicle, which had already successfully undergone testing. This rocket had previously carried rats into space. The launch was planned from the Hammaguir Cosmodrome in Algeria. On October 18, 1963, Felicette's journey began. In just over 13 minutes, the rocket reached an altitude of nearly 160 kilometers. At approximately that same height, the rocket spent about 5 minutes in zero gravity. Afterward, the rocket began its descent back to Earth. Return and outcome. After landing, space astronaut Felicette was removed from the capsule. The animal successfully survived her journey into space. During the flight, Felicette experienced extreme G-forces, reaching up to 9 G. What happened to Felicette after her spaceflight? Her successful journey into space garnered widespread publicity. The press covered her mission extensively, marking a significant milestone for France in its space program. However, the story of Felicette the space cat ended on a rather sad note. End of Felicette's story. 2 months after her return, scientists euthanized Felicette. This was done so they could thoroughly study the changes in her brain caused by the spaceflight. In honor of Felicette, a monument was erected at the French International Space Institute. Even in Russia, in the city of Dubna, a mosaic sculpture depicting Felicette was installed in a bar. Were there other space cats? Felicette remains the only cat astronaut who successfully completed a space mission. There are no documented successful flights involving other cats. On October 24, 1963, another rocket was launched with a cat aboard. However, the flight ended in failure due to a launch accident, and the animal did not survive. Here's the video. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time.